Hello, Opa. I know you've been long awaiting this video and all my other subscribers. Yep, you guessed it. This is Zwift Stage 2, Hell of the North. I believe this is in Paris. But yeah, this is Stage 2 of the racing series, and I'm sure you're excited to see how I get on. Uh, this is we're getting straight into it. No other stuff learning about Zwift at all. If you do have questions, comment, let me know, text me back, let me know how the other video was. Um, but yeah, I raced this one about I'm recording this a bit later, but I raced this one on Tuesday of last week, and I can say going into this race, I should have felt very fresh. I hadn't worked out Monday. I don't even think I worked out Sunday. I wasn't sick like the week before. And so everything going into this race meant I should have been strong. And overall, like walking around throughout the day, I felt strong. But I got to warm up in, and as I hop on the bike, I could feel, I don't know, my legs are heavy. But maybe it's just normal. Maybe I just thought I'd be stronger than what I was, and maybe that's my normal length, and it was a bit since I had last done a bike race. I hadn't done bike rides in between, so maybe that was part of the problem. I've been doing other stuff. I've still been working out. I've still been playing soccer. Done a little bit of climbing. So it's not like my physical this has been going down, but the actual biking that I've been doing is maybe going down, and maybe that's why my legs felt a little bit heavy. But what I mean by that is I know during these bike rides, during many of the points, I'm going to need to be pushing like 250 watts pretty casually or whatever, and I could when I was doing that, I was feeling like I was dying. Anyways, let's get into this race. I'll skip ahead to the start, and I'll keep commentating. And would you look at that, with the power of editing, 10 seconds to go to the start. We can see there's about 36 people in this race. I actually think that this is always like a nice sweet spot number. If you have too many people, races can just be very fast, very hard, and there's no chance of a breakaway. With 36 people, I feel like if I did have the legs or something, it's the amount of people that you feel like you can. There'll only be like 10 strong riders. If you're feeling extra strong, you can try. Anyways, we also now get to see the course profile. We get to truly see how my legs are doing. Obviously, right at the start, you can see I'm doing like 300 watts, but it quickly settles down. That's also a nicer thing of having less people, is no one really wants to be off the front. And like when you have hundreds of people, everybody kind of wants to be near the front, and the front stays fast for much longer. Right now doing about 250 watts, but slowly calming down and very nice. We can see in the top right corner the layout of the map, and you can see it's pretty much flat up until the end where it's a climb finish. And in general, I would say that this type of race, a climb finish, me being a lighter rider, is the type of finish that I'd go for. One thing I didn't mention is this race is for people with a 390 to 500 Zwift score, and I'm at 450, so I'm right in the middle. There's probably some stronger riders, there's probably some weaker riders, but in terms of where my Zwift rating score is right now, I'm right in the middle, and this is a course that should suit me. And so seeing a hill at the end means, yeah, I should have an advantage here. But yeah, right now, we're off the start. We can see right at the beginning, too, there's a bunch of little punchy hills. Great place to start testing your legs. But yeah, I'm doing 250, 260 watts as I anticipated, especially up and down these first hills. And I can, like, if there was a time to try and go for a breakaway and split people up, now would be the time. But yeah, I'm doing 280 here, and I can tell you I am feeling dead in the legs already. My game plan of hoping to see maybe I'll try and go for a tester and run away to feeling like I can win this race to instantly feeling like, oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. And my goal is just to stay with the pack the whole time because we know it's very hard for breakaways to get away uh, on a flatter course. And so you just don't want to lose the main group. So that's kind of my strategy for the whole race. I'm gonna try and stay as much as I can in the draft, see if I can recover it all before the final climb, and then just give it my best then, as probably most people's strategy is. These little punching cliffs, you can even see the group starts to get away from me, and I have to really kick in to really make sure I don't lose it. That's how you can tell my legs are not the strongest, because sometimes, when we're fresh and we're going up, I can easily put out 300 to 400 watts, and I'll be the one trying to test it on a breakaway just for the fun of it, to see if I can split up the group or whatever instead of making it so large, because we got 36 people in this race, and it looks like about 30 of us are all going to be together, and I doubt anybody's going to get dropped out of the 30 of us, although I say that as I'm the one that's like on the fence of being dropped. Anyways, we got past these first couple of hills. I think there might be one more coming up, and then it becomes flat. And so that's like the enticing part of stay with them until it becomes flat. It'll get easier. We see it's a flat course. But yeah, even on this downhill, they start going ahead of me. Here comes a little hill, but what's nice is now I've been in the draft. I get the speed. Makes this hill easier. I fling past them. It's kind of like a Zwift mechanic, also a real racing mechanic, but especially in Zwift. If you come into the hill with speed behind a group, it's very easy to slingshot yourself up to the front and really get a good boost on the start of the climb, because one, you don't need to worry about going around people. You can just kind of go through them. And so I have the most speed by being in the back. I get to hit the climb with a lot of speed, which helps me move up without having to do as much effort. We can see one person right now has just gone off the front, and all that means is every time someone goes off the front is you just got to be aware that people don't like to let the person who got off the front get away. A lot of people are feeling stronger, so they're all going to take turns to they don't necessarily feel the need to catch them, but just not let them run away with a solo breakaway. And so that's kind of what happens for a while, and a lot of people, I think, end up doing this. Is the person off the front really only has like 2, 5, 10-second gaps at times or whatever. Here it's only like 1 second, and looks like he's about to be swarmed up. Yeah, it's always a nice strategy if someone does go off this front. You don't necessarily have to catch them. Don't do the work to catch them. Just don't let him get away, and then now you're making him waste a bunch of energy going off the front by himself. And generally, if someone's going off the front by themselves, probably means that they're a bit stronger. They want to test people out. They want the race to be a little bit faster. And so it's good to make them what we call dangle, in order to tire themselves out with no risk of us losing the race. Anyways, that's not really what's going through in my head really when this is going on, but it is a strategy. When I'm stronger, my strategy is I'm just staying in the main group. If he were to break away and keep pushing 300 watts for a while, I wouldn't be able to catch him. I'm wanting people not to go off the front, because when someone does go off the front, the whole pace picks up because people want to chase them down, and then I'm more tired. And some races, that's what you want. Some races you can sense that you're the strongest rider there, and you kind of want the pace to be high. This race was not one of those races, but there goes 2 riders off the front, and so because of that, the pace is going to be higher. And this is what I meant by I felt weaker, because a lot of times, we could be pushing these averages of 250, where most of the race is actually closer to 200 watts, and I would feel like, this is a good pace. nothing crazy. I still have lots of energy. And this race, I just felt like every time I had to push up, just even up to 300, that was like almost feeling like a full sprint. um, anyways, this is all the beginning part of the race. I will speed up the next little bit of it just so this video is not too long, and I'll just do it at 2 times speed as opposed to, the previous videos at 4 times speed. You'll get to watch a bit more of the race, so hopefully you enjoy. Alright, here's the video at 2 times speed, so don't think we're actually moving any faster than what we are before. Um, Once again, we're on this gravel section, and gravel, we're still going pretty fast. It's starting to be a little downhill. I think we're about to get up to an uphill, but I had to do a little bit of effort, make sure I didn't lose the groove, which is good right before a hill because it makes going up the hill easier if you go into the hill faster. Anyways, this gravel section makes us go slower. Us going slower makes the benefits that we get from being behind a rider a little bit less. And so overall, for a person who's not feeling the legs as much, a harder section of the course, because I know I'm going to have to push harder just to stay with the group than I normally would if the roads were flat. Anyways, we're going down here. We got this power-up. This is the drafting power-up. You can see on the mini-map, every time we go through like a green sprig point is what they're called, we'll get another power-up. Yeah, as you can tell, like maybe I would like to save the power-up to right before the next one and use it there, but my legs were tired. I saw other people using theirs. You get more drafting benefits when you're going faster. We're going downhill, so all of that makes the power-up useful, but it's not going to make or break any race. You can see it's already over. It gives me like, I don't know, maybe I can save like 20 watts or whatever while using it, which is nice. It allows me to recover a little bit. And I wouldn't say, looking at my heart rate, you can see my heart rate's 155 beats per minute. That's pretty low. That's pretty comfortable, I would say. That 150 to 160 area, that's like a good area, but it's just my legs, I think, that felt very heavy. So it wasn't my heart rate or endurance that felt like it was going to give out. It was just the legs that felt like they couldn't keep up. Anyways, we're back on flats, and I wouldn't say much happens. We got a guy off the front, and so every time someone goes off the front, pace is going to be picking up to make sure he doesn't get away. And that's what this race was about. It wasn't crazy. I wasn't joining any breakaways. There wasn't really many large breakaways that ever got away. And so I just saved my energy for most of the race and stayed in the middle. But I think my whole thought process as I'm getting closer to that hill is, oh God, if these guys are all feeling confident enough to break off the front, man, they're probably going to crush it up that hill. And I'm going to get smoked on that hill. Which, I regret this mindset. I wish, and I'll do better in my next race, so stay tuned for Zwift Race 3, of really just committing to winning, and thinking that I've got a chance no matter what, and enduring and loving the pain of cycling at these moments, and just thinking, man, if I'm tired, everybody else here is also probably tired. We're all the same ratings. Everybody's probably getting tired. Which I think is a better mindset to have. Not that I think that affects the results of what happened here, but I think when we get up to the final hill, that's where the real make or breaks decision making happens, and we can I'll talk more about the decisions I made, why I made them, and yeah, just I think inexperience of also racing, not really knowing what 1 mile left, 2 miles left means for how much effort I should be putting out, because I think in the last race there was like a mile left or something. I'm trying to remember, but going at a mile early was a long way out. It felt like for trying to sprint, finish, pick up the pace or whatever, and that's It seemed like a long way out to kick a sprint, so I was kind of saying, oh, I'll wait till like a mile to really give it up a gear, where or maybe yeah, we'll see. But anyways, yeah, still one guy off the front, so nobody's gonna want to let him get away. It looks like we're getting close to the next sprint point and checkpoint area. And so I just want to commentate as we go through it. Some people like to sprint through these checkpoints just to test out their legs, see how they're doing. That wasn't my goal. There's no point benefits for sprinting through it. But I got this featherweight power up. And now I have a decision to make, because the final climb, you're probably going to want a featherweight power up. It'll make you lighter. It'll make climbing easier, as opposed to the drafting benefit where there's not much drafting. So I could save it for the final climb, but I have two more tries at another power up to make sure I get the feather. It looks like it's a 50-50 chance. And so I decide to use my feather with everybody else and hope that one of these next two power-ups is a feather again, and that way I have it for the final climb, because that's really the big thing that you want to power up for. Yeah, having a slight boost there maybe helps me relax, but like I said, it's short, it's quick, it doesn't really help me out that much. So here we go through another power-up station. And I got the feather, and this time I'm like, well, I am not going to risk losing this feather. You can see some other riders are using their feather, but I don't need to be lighter. Being lighter here doesn't really help me, and I'd rather guarantee that I have a feather for that final climb. So I'm going to hold on to this for the rest of the race. So obviously, ideal setup maybe would have been if I got a drafting one and then I got a feather one at this next station, but that didn't happen, and I'm not going to risk it, because some of these guys are using their feathers here on this slight hill, but they could get a drafting one on that next station, and then they won't have a feather for the final hill climb, which really seems to be the most beneficial use of any power-up. Especially also if you want to win the race and have a sprint finish. A sprint finish on a hill feather is huge, very nice to have, to make a differentiator when if someone else had already used theirs early or didn't get one. It can really be a deciding factor on a sprint finish. Anyways, here we're going. We're getting very close to the final climb. We're 3 miles out, and only 22 minutes into this race. So overall, I'd say it feels like it's on the shorter end of a race. We'll have to see how long this climb lasts. But happy to obviously still be in the front group. I don't think many people got dropped. I still think we've got almost 30 people in this front group, which, like I said, is the number of people I like to race against. I think it makes it fun and exciting, and it's not too crazy long of a group. Here's the people's last chance to try and get a feather power up if they don't already have one. That guy saved his draft for right at the very last second. And it looks like some people, I can't tell if that other guy at the front used the draft. Oh, here goes this guy used the draft. So all of these guys that got drafts here that are using it now, they're using it before the hill because, yeah, it's your draft bonus is going to be much better on flats than it is on hill, but it makes it suck. I'm right now way at the back, which in general isn't a bad place to be in right before the hill, because like I said, if you start at the back and then come through people with speed going up the beginning of the hill, you can get a much nice boost, but I think I'm more so at the back because I'm getting tired. But anyways, I got this draft. We're coming up to the hill, and this is the part where I think I should be thriving, so I'm going to pause it and put it at 1x speed. It looks like it's about a 1.5 mile hill climb. Alright, race is about at normal speed. We get to look at the hill. It's not got crazy gradients, but it looks like it's pretty consistent. We're now at 3.2%. You'll still get a nice little bit of a draft at 3.2%. We're going 18, 17 miles per hour, pretty decent. And I think always going up a hill, my mindset is I always want to be pushing, yeah, anywhere from like 275 to 300 watts is kind of where I like to, is my sweet zone. I think obviously today a little bit more tired, so hitting that 300 watts felt like a drag to try and go there, but also I didn't need to dictate the pace for this one. I was just letting others do it, and yeah, my goal was I knew during on hill climbs people tend to split up into different groups, and my goal is just to stay in the lead group as long as possible, knowing that right now I could really feel it, like I was dying, and we're right at the bottom, and I can see that there's still a whole mile left, and this mile goes like agonizingly slow. It's like 1.1 miles. It feels like forever, and so this is kind of like my thought process uh, of it. I'm like, oh, this 0.1 mile took forever. This 0.1 mile took forever. So I didn't really kick it up a gear too much at the end of the race because I just thought I had more time until I didn't. And just a lapse of not really knowing how much time and when to kick things. Anyways, we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, it just felt like everything was moving slowly and I was doing what I could just to stay in the front group. And so far, there really hasn't been much splits. Um, and yeah, everybody's kind of staying the same. And with it, I just felt like, oof, this one's going to be a tough one. Where really I should have been enjoying this, thinking people are also tired, and thinking this is probably my time to attack if I want to try and win. Anyways, you can see people are going ahead of me, and I'm going the wrong direction. It's thinning out. People are splitting up, and I think soon I'm gonna have to be like, oh God, it's thinning out. I can't be dropped already. I better kick it up a bit. But yeah, being back here isn't where I usually like to be on these races. But I was struggling, but I was recovering right here. I'm going like 200 watts, which is on the lower end of what I normally like to be on for a long hill, and I'm recovering. This is the moment though, right here. You can see there's a split in the packs. And there's a pack up front, and then there's the pack that I'm in, and I'm at the back of it. And right here is where I wish, in hindsight, that I just picked up the gear. I'm right now, as you can't see, sitting in my saddle, and I was sitting in my saddle for most of the climb. As is a good thing to do, but I think I should have gotten out of the saddle and tried to go try and make that lead group. Because yeah, this is where the split happens, and I'm sure there's some riders that are going to try and catch that split. I should have been joining them, doing everything I could to at least give myself to try and fight for the win. Anyways, my thought process here was, well, I'm not strong enough to go race with them. I will just stick with the group that I'm in, and I'll try and beat as many people as these people at the top. And so that's what I do, but yeah, I see 0.5 miles left, and I'm like 0.4 miles left. I remember each of these 0.1s. It was only, it felt like it was 0.6 10 minutes ago to me or whatever, and so didn't really expect the end to come up all of a sudden, even though does only say 0.3. I'm just trying to stay on the wheels of people in front of me as they separate, trying to stay as close to the pack as possible. I'm still in my saddle, being happy with the group I'm at, knowing that I still have a little bit left in the tank for a sprint finish. I wish I didn't pace it like that. And we'll see, like 0.2, I should have been going right here, and when I see it starts going down to 900 feet, I'm like, oh God, this is it. I'm right at the end. I use my feather power up. I'm in like 18th place right now. I kick it up a bunch of gears. I had a sprint finish in me, which I think I shouldn't have saved, but yeah, I'm pushing it. Obviously, a bunch of people didn't have a sprint finish in them, so passing people left and right. You can see people being dropped, not doing crazy numbers, only like 350 or whatever. Passed a couple people at the end. Went from like 18th place to 9th place for a finish. Looks like a couple people were trying to follow me too, so barely beat them out. So I was like the head of the people. We can see the results now. I was the head of the people that were, not in the lead group. I don't know. The guy who finished in front of me finished almost 4 seconds in front of me. Can't see it here unless I click see all finishers. I'm not sure if I do. Obviously, I'm probably recovering for a second. Let's see. No, I don't click it yet. I'll look later, but there is like, yeah, two people that finished 4 seconds in front of me. Then it was a larger gap of another like 4 seconds for the people in front of them. But yeah, I wish, based on how I did in that sprint finish, if I would have tried to maybe go earlier, maybe I would still finish ninth, but at least I would have given it my all and tried to get closer to the top three. Anyways, that was this race. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you like about it. Let me know what you don't like about it. Comment, share it. Um, Tell me if I should stop doing these if they're boring and you don't want to watch anymore. But I love you, Opa. I'll see you.